Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today we're going to be talking about Duncan v. Bonta, which is an extremely important case out of the state of California that is currently sitting before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, this is an extremely important case because Duncan challenges California's ban on magazines that can hold more than 10 rounds. And this is a case that has been bounced around the court system for quite some time now. And if you watch this channel, you know that Duncan was placed on hold at the Ninth Circuit pending the decision in Rahimi at the Supreme Court, and that decision has since come and gone. So I've been getting a lot of questions about it. Well, I've got some news for you guys today, and unfortunately, it's not good news. So if you know anybody that wants updates on what's going on with the Magban case, definitely share it with them. Thumbs ups are always appreciated, and leave a comment down below and join the conversation because we got to talk about what just happened. Now, before we get too deep into it, this video is brought to you by one of the most fun and exciting games that you will ever play. Raid Shadow Legends. So I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends for a while now, so you guys can scan the QR code or click the link in the description box and join my clan and we can fight together. Raid Shadow Legends is a turn-based battle game that allows you to play against AI or hundreds of thousands of other real people who play the game. Now, Raid Shadow Legends is a very immersive game. It really allows you to get lost in this epic world of champions. You can dig deep into your champion's ability, gain XP, and battle through different scenes along the way. Now, if you download the game, you can take part in the Asgard Divide event and take control of your favorite Asgardian champions. Now, you also don't want to miss out on this special promotion. If you use my custom link down in the description box, you will get Legendary Loki for free, plus 2 epic packs, just by logging in for 7 days. In the Asgard Divide event, you'll see champions like Thor Feyhammer, Odin Feyfather, Freya Feyweaver, and Loki the Deceiver. There's also extra bonuses like receive Epic Champion Tagar and Epic Champion Grizzlejar after reaching level 15. Now, before all the bonuses are gone, make sure you guys scan that QR code or you check out the link in the description box. Download Raid Shadow Legends and start playing today. You can join me, my character is Copper Jacket TV, or you can join my clan, Copper Jacket. So again, check it out and get it today. Okay, so let's go and dive right in and talk about what's going on with Duncan v. Bonta. Now, if you guys have been following this case, you know that it's been going on for a while now. People in California have been waiting for some relief. As a matter of fact, this is the case that resulted in California's Freedom Week, a 1-week period where people could pretty much get whatever they want in whatever capacity they wanted. And that was thanks to Judge Roger T. Benitez, a federal district court judge who actually found that California's ban was unconstitutional twice. The first time is what gave them Freedom Week. The second time is why we are up at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals yet again, waiting for their decision. Now, I just want to say something real quick. I lived in California during Freedom Week, and I don't know about you, but it was awesome. And I really hope we can get back to that point for the people of California again, because I pretty much emptied my bank account. I mean, that almost put me in the poorhouse, but that's what it should be like every single day. People in California should have the freedom to choose what they want. Nonetheless, here we are. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about the bad news regarding Duncan. So unfortunately, the bad news is that the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals came out with an absolutely horrendous, miserable, terrible decision in Bianchi v. Brown. Bianchi is a case that challenged Maryland's so-called assault weapons ban, and the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals found that they are not even protected by the plain text of the Second Amendment, saying that they're not considered arms because they're not good for personal self-defense. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why would the Bianchi decision have anything to do with the Duncan decision, which has to do with 2 different things? Well, they are very closely associated. If you can ban the one and say that it's perfectly constitutional to do so, then obviously you can ban what they consider to be an accessory for it, right? And so guess who noticed that right away? Well, obviously, Bonta noticed that right away, and the California Department of Justice decided to get a hold of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, who is, trust me, looking for an out, looking for some way to side with the state of California on this, and said, here is why you should make sure that our ban is upheld. And it's because of Bianchi v. Brown and the Fourth Circuit's absolutely horrendous decision. Not only that, the Fourth Circuit even said that if the plain text even did cover it, it would still be constitutional, and then they used an approach that Bruin said you weren't allowed to use. So it was a terrible decision on so many accounts. But I have the letter here. This is the letter from the California Department of Justice to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and I want to read it to you real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the letter that was sent from the California Department of Justice, Rob Bonta's office, to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and it was just sent last month, and it is regarding Duncan et al. V. Bonta, and it says, "Dear Ms. Dwyer," who is the clerk of the court, appellant writes to notify this court of the Fourth Circuit's en banc decision in Bianchi v. Brown. The Fourth Circuit considered a Second Amendment challenge to Maryland's law banning so-called quote-unquote assault weapons. After rejecting plaintiffs' facial challenge because plaintiffs failed to show that each firearm regulated by Maryland's statute is within the ambit of the Second Amendment, the courts considered the constitutionality of Maryland's restrictions. The court applied Bruin's two-step methodology, which they didn't, they just made it look that way, and concluded at the first step that the covered firearms are not within the scope of the constitutional right to keep and bear arms for self-defense. The court further held that, quote, even if the text of the Second Amendment were read to encompass the covered firearms, the statutory provisions would nonetheless be constitutional, end quote, because Maryland's ban is consistent with a strong tradition of regulating excessively dangerous weapons once it becomes clear that they are enacting an inordinate toll on public safety and social well-being. That's your interest balancing approach right there. Public health and social well-being, which is exactly what Bruin said you were not supposed to do, but that's what they did, while nonetheless preserving avenues for armed self-defense. So basically what they're saying there is that by preserving other avenues, meaning that we're just banning this, we're not banning everything, and you still have a way to defend yourself, we should be able to uphold this ban, which is exactly what the Fourth Circuit did. They upheld the ban. So now, again, you have Bonta here sending this letter to the Ninth Circuit, and I guarantee you the Ninth Circuit is going to be looking at this for whatever nugget they can use to make sure that Duncan is upheld for the state of California and not for the plaintiffs. Now, we do have a rebuttal here sent by the plaintiffs' attorneys to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the rebuttal basically says, the Attorney General's short summary of Bianchi v. Brown, August 6th en banc, lays bare the fundamental problems with that decision. As the Attorney General dutifully recounts, the Fourth Circuit held that states may ban any and all arms that, in legislators' and judges' view, have an inordinate toll on public safety and social well-being, provided the states preserve avenues for armed self-defense. And that was a quote. So it says, that is just means and scrutiny by another name. So it's the interest balancing approach by another name. Asking whether conduct has had what judges perceive to be inordinate effects on social well-being is no different from asking whether a state has what judges perceive to be a strong enough interest in restricting that conduct. The interest balancing approach is exactly, again, what the Supreme Court said you were not allowed to do in these types of cases. And asking whether a law leaves what judges perceive to be sufficient avenues for armed self-defense is just another way of asking whether a law burdens more constitutionally protected conduct than judges perceive to be necessary to serve the state's interest. None of that is consistent with the Supreme Court's directives. Bruin was not an invitation for lower courts to do everything just the same as before. Now, it goes on from there, but that was a really good response to the absolute ridiculousness that is the decision by the Fourth Circuit in Bianchi v. Brown. Now, obviously, the Ninth Circuit, who is almost always in favor of whatever California decides to pass, is going to still try and find any nugget in there that they can end up using. And so, obviously, California has used the argument. We showed the oral arguments here on this channel, but has used the argument that that's just an accessory and it's not necessary, and you still have the means of using something else that is of smaller capacity, and so being able to ban anything that's bigger than that should be just fine. That's kind of where the Ninth Circuit has gone. This backs up that Ninth Circuit claim, right? And so really it just adds a little bit of credibility to something that the Ninth Circuit already believes. And so maybe they ignore the lawyers for the plaintiffs here and just go along with what the Fourth Circuit said, because obviously it's an appellate court. They hold quite a bit of power, in precedent. So they can go ahead and just look at that and say, hey, we're going to say the same thing, and that's the end of it right there. And keep in mind that Miller, which is another challenge in California, is pending the decision in Duncan. And so we have a lot going on here, but the fact that the Fourth Circuit messed up so bad, it is absolutely hurting us in Duncan and could cause a lot of problems. Again, all the Ninth Circuit needs is that one out. Now, this leads me to believe that we're going to be seeing a decision in Duncan fairly soon. Hopefully we do. And, you know, obviously I'll keep you guys updated on that. So if you haven't subscribed yet, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free. It only takes a second, but it really helps us out a lot. Thumbs ups are always appreciated. And again, anything happens, I will jump right back in front of the camera and let you guys know about it. But Californians need that, need what they got before. But instead of just 1 week, they need it forever because that's their right. Thank you all very much. Have a good one.